let's go. It's time to be the GOAT. It's time to enter God mode, man, let's get it going. I wanna be the greatest, energy is overflowing. I know I'm stoking the fire, my desire's taking over, not time.
Okay, you beautiful adventurers, welcome back to the back of the semi-truck. And if this is your first time here, thanks to what we're doing around here, then welcome to the back of the semi-truck for the very first time. And what we're doing around here is learning the lore of Adventure Time. Now, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to do this Learning the Lore series a little bit different than some of the others. What I'm going to do with this one, it was recommended to check out Footofaferret's recap of the entire story and all that good stuff. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to check out Footofaferret. It's like a 40-minute little recap video of the story of Adventure Time. And then, because I've seen that Adventure Time has tons of lore, and I knew this going into this, that it's got a ton of lore. And disclaimer, really fast, I know I'm jumping on to another subject, but disclaimer, I am familiar with like the first 15 episodes. I mean, it's not like it was no big lore, but it does lay a foundation. So I am familiar a little bit with it, but not familiar enough to know the ins and outs. So as I was saying, I am going to do this one a little different. This Footofaferret video, we're going to tackle it. We're going to, do my normal, start it, pause it, add my commentary, start it again, add my commentary. We're going to turn this into a two-parter because, of course, the first part is going to be about an hour long. The second part is probably going to be an hour long. Each one of these videos are probably going to be about an hour long. But after I'm done with this video here, Footofaferret, that's when I'm going to tackle, like, 20-minute long videos of each. Like, I seen one that specifies like Marceline, and I seen one that just deals with only like the wars that have happened and just various different things like that. I'm wanting to tackle those as its own individual subject. So first I'm going to get the lore of the story, and then we're going to jump into more individualized subject matters. So don't worry, I'm not just going to deal with just this lore, but we're going to deal with all of it. So this might be even longer than my Sonic the Hedgehog video game timeline lore video that I'm still in the process of doing. But that one's probably going to be only 7 parts. I don't know how long this one's going to go on. So once I'm done with Sonic, we'll add another series, all that stuff. So either way, now it's time for me to shut up. I did the intro. Let's spin me around and put me in this top left-hand corner, or maybe I did another screen for Adventure Time. I have no idea. But either way, let's do this and just find out the lore of Adventure Time. So, 3, 2, 1, and play.
All right, here's the big one.
Right,
I've recapped
do it.
Steven Universe and Gravity Falls, so now it's time to take on the last of the modern cartoon's big 3, Adventure Time. Yes, Adventure Time, the Cartoon Network classic about a human boy named Finn and his best friend and shape-shifting magical dog named Jake going on crazy adventures in this fantasy land called Ooh to protect the Candy Kingdom, where literally everyone is a sentient piece of candy. They all got wavy noodle arms and say crazy wacky catchphrases, and the show's about war. Yeah, things get a little crazy. And there's 10 freaking seasons, man. There's tons of side stories, backstories, and extra.
Pause. Okay, so yes, I'm in the middle of cleaning my glasses if you happen to be looking up here in the other screen. But, wow, 10 freaking seasons. I didn't even know they went that long. But, yeah, that's that's a pretty good explanation of Adventure Time. Fun little goofy wiggly armed characters. You got Finn and Jake, and they go on adventures with the land of Ooh. I think that's how you pronounce it. But it's about war. Yeah, that's, I guess, the best explanation you can have when it comes to a show like this, because just because I'm learning the lore now doesn't mean that I'm not familiar with a little bit of it. So Yeah, I think we're about to have a lot of heavy subjects here. So, I know I've just only gotten 40 seconds in, but I mean, it wouldn't be one of these videos if I didn't pause it pretty much right away. So, let's do this. And play.
Stuff, so I might have to oversimplify this one a
Excuse
bit.
me.
But before we get started, I will say if you like this video and want to see more, be sure to head down and hit that big red subscribe button and the little bell next to it to make sure you never miss any future uploads. Literally no time to waste on this one, so let's start with Season 1. Does anything happen in Season 1? I mean, we got Finn and Jake partying, having fun, goofing around, and going on random adventures. They protect Princess Bubblegum, the leader of the Candy Kingdom and creator of all the candy people, from the Ice King, an evil princess-obsessed wizard who is kinda too stupid to be a real threat, but he just keeps popping up. Finn and Jake live in a treehouse with a sentient Game Boy named BMO, Jake's dating a rainbow unicorn named Lady Rainicorn, etc, etc, etc. And all that is super fun and charming, but plot-wise, this season's pretty barren. Early Adventure Time is just...
Pause, okay. So, when it comes to Season 1 there, this is something I say... Like I said at the very beginning when I gave the intro and all that good stuff, I was familiar with like the first 15-ish episodes, give or take. I have no idea how many I'm actually familiar with. I tried to do a reaction to like the first 10 episodes and it wasn't getting no traction, so I gave up on it. But I say this about a lot of shows that do what Steven Universe did. With the first season of Steven Universe, a lot of people say that no, nothing happens and this and that. But what it does is lay the groundwork for it. If you don't have that first initial season to get familiar with who the characters are and where they're coming from and the land that, you know, surrounds them, much like Adventure Time here, then you're not going to connect with the characters nearly as much. So I like when shows, well, let me rephrase this. I kind of like when shows do these first seasons that really don't add a lot to the story, but when you get to the end of it, you look back and be like, oh wow, that first season had a lot more than I thought in it. So I feel like when I start diving deeper into like singular stories, first season's going to have a lot more than what I realize. So that's just me on the outside here looking in and just saying what I think about first seasons that don't really have much meat to it. I think there's always a lot more to it, such as laying the groundwork. So off of my little soapbox, let's continue this and play.
Pure shenanigans. And Season 2 is mostly the same, but some wheels do start turning. See, when you watch the show, you might notice that Finn's kinda the only human around. And maybe this super buff girl he's friends with Susan Strong, but that's for later. You might also spot a lot of weirdly modern technology just rotting away in this fantasy land. Like TVs and cars and... Oh! Yeah, so here's the thing. Adventure Time actually takes place on a post-apocalyptic Earth, 1,000 years after this intense nuclear conflict called the Mushroom Wars. And that war is super important. It actually provides a lot of context for Adventure Time's insanity. Case in point, Ice King. Way back, before all the magic and nuclear explosions and junk, the world was pretty much the way it is now, and we got this guy named Simon. Super smart, scholarly dude who studied antiques and lived with his fiancée Betty, who he called his princess. But one day, he finds a crown.
Pause. That's important. Because obviously I could tell that he, you know, there is spoilers out there for me. I do know Simon is the Ice King, blah, blah, blah. But I can tell even just from this little video here that Footofaferret is telling us the, you know, the origins of the Ice King. And that, just looking at this very oversimplified, you know, origin for the Ice King, because we're not going to get deep into it until after Footofaferret. So we're definitely going to be looking more into the Ice King and his origins as Simon and all that, because if I remember correctly, he has a big story with Marceline as well. So, yeah, but just that one statement alone, his fiance that he called Princess. Hence the reason why he's obsessed with princesses. I had no idea that was the freaking reason why he's obsessed with them. This all makes so much freaking sense from Ice King's perspective now. Granted, I have a feeling that he's just plain crazy after the Mushroom War and stuff like that, but it makes so much more sense knowing that he had a fiance that he would always call Princess. So now, I got a feeling he's got a tragic backstory. Dang. That's going to suck going through here. Well, it's going to suck, but at the same time, it's going to be so freaking interesting. Either way, let's continue and play.
This thing was actually made millions of years ago by an ice elemental called Evergreen to grant a wish to whoever first wore it. First person to wear it just happened to wish to become an ice elemental like Evergreen. Couldn't have wished for a sandwich or something. So when Simon puts on the crown, it starts messing with his mind and giving him ice powers. He ends up scaring off Betty and never seeing her again. So he dedicates the rest of his life to studying the crown, with it slowly changing him the more he wears it. And after the bombs dropped, Simon was wearing the crown more and more to keep himself and this random little vampire girl named Marceline safe in the post-apocalyptic wasteland. So inevitably, the crown overtakes Simon and he goes full Ice King, completely forgetting everything about his own life, running off on his own, leaving Marceline behind, and spending the rest of his days kidnapping princesses. Oh! I get it now. This was heavy! We don't find any of this out until season...
Pause. Yes, it is heavy. Holy crap, I want to know so much more about Simon. Simon seems like a chill dude. But Ice King seems a little neurotic. So, yeah. Wow, it is heavy. And right now I'm seeing glimpses of Simon, you know, on the screen that I'm seeing with his glasses, but yet the, you know, Ice King persona all around him, and it's just like he's fighting to be Simon, but at the same time he wants to be Ice King. I mean, jeez, this is some crazy lore already. We haven't even gotten past Simon. I don't know if Footofaferret's doing like a timeline lore or just a recap of seasons 1 through 10 and what happened in season 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or what. But I feel like he's doing a timeline with, at the beginning was the At the beginning was the Mushroom War, and then everything else happened. So, I don't know, I feel like that's the way we're going, but either way, Simon, my dude, I hope for the best for you. Either way, let's continue like always, and play.
We don't find any of this out until season 3, and it's pretty much the first time Adventure Time really dove deep into character development. And considering the rest of the show was this...
Yeah!
It hit pretty hard. But that's not even the worst thing to come out of the Mushroom Wars. Nah, that would be the Lich. This ready for picture day looker is a being of ultimate unstoppable evil that Princess Bubblegum keeps in her attic. She's managed to contain him for a while, but just when she decides to show him to Finn and Jake, he escapes.
Pause. Hold on. Okay, so I've seen pictures of the Lich, but that was in Princess Bubblegum's attic the whole freaking time? Okay, so there's more to Princess Bubblegum than I thought. My gosh, that is freaking crazy to think about how she just has the Lich up there in the attic. And then again, there's a lot. There's a lot to Princess Bubblegum, I know, just even by the first season by itself. Because I've seen some things that make me question a lot of her. I can't, off the top of my head right now, can't think of it. But I definitely know there's a lot to question, even in the first few episodes of Princess Bubblegum. So, oh my gosh. All I've seen was pictures of the Lich. I haven't seen what kind of voice comes out of him. I haven't seen anything. But here we are. Comes from Princess Bubblegum's attic. So Either way, let's continue. Oh my gosh, purest form of evil in Princess Bubblegum's attic. Let's continue.
Need better security than just tree sap bubblegum. You're better than that. And of course, then the Ice King kidnaps PB again. This is a good day. Finn gives the Lich a good beatdown, and I'm sure that will be the only time in this entire series that he ever has to defeat him. Oh, wait, spoke too soon. The Lich is now inside Princess Bubblegum, and she's turning into a giant monster. Finn and Jake team up with the Ice King to freeze her. She falls over, breaks into a bunch of pieces, and the doctors couldn't find all of the gum to bring her back to normal, so now she's younger? Is that how that works? Like, if I lose an arm, does that mean I'm like 5 years younger? But this is actually pretty interesting because...
Pause. What? I didn't... Since when does Princess Bubblegum... Oh my gosh. She became younger? Since when? I'm with you, Footofaferret. So you lose a piece and you get younger? I guess that's how things work in the Candy Kingdom. Because, you know, I thought they were going to say all the king's horses, all the king... Do a Humpty Dumpty reference, you know, can't put... You know, couldn't find all the pieces to put Princess Bubblegum back together again, you know. Some sort of Humpty Dumpty reference, and we were just going to be done with Princess Bubblegum for a little while, but no. Put her back together, and she's just slightly younger now. Okay. Let's continue. Wait. So we're not even tackling that episode with Ricardo? Who cares? That one didn't mean nothing. Is Ricardo coming back? Oh my gosh, I got so much lore to learn. I should just watch these episodes on my own, but with this style of video, I can get all of it with y'all. So, let's continue. And...
Because Finn's been crushing on Bubblegum this whole show, and now they're the same age. There was like a 5-year age gap between them, but actually not, because Bubblegum's like 900 years old, but we don't know that at the time, so for all we know, they're the same age. So this could be a really interesting exploration of their friendship dynamic, and how this changes things between them. But no. We don't see PB again for like 6 episodes, at which point she is immediately returned back to normal. Yep. So right when Finn finally had a chance to, well, have a chance with Bubblegum, it's tossed out the window like that. And Finn, he doesn't take it well. Dude goes all emo, wallowing in sadness and cuddling a lock of PB's hair. You know, like a normal person. Dude, she's not dead, she's just too old for you. But then he falls in love with another girl, Flame Princess, in like 5 seconds and starts literally chasing after her. You know, like a normal person. But despite that, Finn and Flame Princess actually start hanging out and eventually dating for a while. Until Finn screws it all up and gets his butt dumped. And if things weren't bad enough for our slightly problematic hero, Finn's starting to have freaky premonition dreams about the Lich. And wouldn't you know it, that dang old Lich is back. He uses the dead body of Finn's childhood hero to trick Finn into opening a portal to the Time Room. That is an...
Okay. So I had to pause because that was a lot to take in all at once. So let's recap real fast so I can wrap my head around what I just saw. Okay, so obviously the Lich is back. But let's go back to Bubblegum. So, yes, Bubblegum is too old for, you know, Finn, you know, an 18-year-old with a 13-year-old. That is way too big of a difference. I don't care if it's only 5 years or not. Yes, me and my wife have a 20-year difference, but we're adults. I'm 40. She's 60. Not a big deal. You know, we have a good age difference, but that's 18, 13, not a good age difference. But I agree with Footofaferret. That would have made such a good dynamic for Finn to have Bubblegum and have their friendship explored. Now that she's younger and is the same age as him, it could have been such a good dynamic to explore, because let's find out how that grows. Let's find out how close they can get. Let's see what happens here. Nope, let's just change her back into an 18-year-old. Oh yeah, that's how you do it. No, I think that was stupid, but whatever. Then we get the Flame Princess. Wait a second. We haven't even tackled Lumpy Space Princess, have we? Whatever. That's whatever. But Flame Princess, we get her, you know, Finn's, you know, crushing on her. They date. from what I seen of the Flame Princess and that dynamic, I liked it. But, you know, it is what it is. It didn't really have anything happen with it. But then we get to Finn having the premonitions and dreams and all this stuff. And now we got the Lynch and the time room. What the time room is, I don't know. But it's something. Let's find out together, right? And let's continue. I don't know what else to say. So,
actual sentence that I wrote into a script and said out loud. In the time room, you can make one wish that creates an alternate dimension wish reality. The Lich uses his wish to extinguish all life, but Finn jumps in right behind him and wishes that the Lich never existed. And instead of creating a paradox that explodes the universe, it instead creates a separate reality where magic
doesn't exist, except for the crown, I guess.
Finn's now a normal human boy with a nose and a robot arm. Standard human boy fare, and Jake is just a dog. They're living on a farm with an actual human family. This is so normal that it's weird. There's this whole ordeal where the Ice King sacrificed himself to freeze the bomb that caused the apocalypse. And with Simon dead, the
pause. Oh, that was freaky. Wow, that was freaky. Just so weird seeing Finn and Jake normal. I haven't even watched the show in its entirety, and that's just freaking, that's freaky, man. Oh my gosh. Wow. It's just too freaking freaky. That's all I could think of to say about it. Let's continue. And
Crown was just like, ugh, this sucks, I'm bored, and plunged the Earth into a 400-year ice age. And now, after the world went back to normal, that warhead just kinda sits there, still frozen and ready to go off any day. But Finn just sees the crown and is like, ooh, yoink! Big old dummy puts on the crown and just... Finn goes nuts and starts throwing ice everywhere. The commotion cracks the frozen warhead, and what time is it? Apocalypse time! Oh. Well, crap. Oh wait, there's Jake. You know, maybe this ain't all bad. Oh my god! Jake's got a Lich up in him! This looks like the end for Finn and Jake. But then we cut to our Jake still chilling in the time room, just watching it all go down. It's a good use of time, my friend. Oh, that's right, Jake can still make a wish to fix all this. He wishes to change the Lich's wish to, I wish for Finn and Jake to be back home safe in Ooh. Huh. That was way easier than I thought it would be. But wait, does that whole...
Pause, okay. Oh my gosh. Wow. That was a lot to absorb. That's why I'm kind of like, holy crap. Wow. So, pretty much in a nutshell, no matter, judging by what I'm seeing here, no matter what really happens, it's always going to be a post-apocalyptic world, because Finn went insane with putting the crown on and then made the bomb explode. So then they end up still in a post-apocalyptic. But then Jake just turns everything back to normal. That doesn't seem right. I think something else is about to happen. So let's find out if something else is about to happen. And play.
Wait, does that whole farm world dimension still exist? What about the Lich? They didn't kill him or anything. He's still out there. What are they gonna do about it? Look! Puppies! Jake and Lady Rainicorn had puppies! They grow up by the end of the first episode and don't really play into the plot after that, but... puppies! Oh, and Finn broke his sword, now he's got a new one. A fancy one that's made out of grass, attached to his arm at all times, and is apparently cursed. I'm sure there's no reason to look into that anymore right now, so let's see what's going on with the Ice King. Wait, what? So, one day, Ice King got hit with a wave of some kinda anti-magic, reverting him back into Simon. And while he's come to his senses, he opens up a time portal so he can say goodbye to Betty. But Betty pulls a galaxy brain move and just jumps through the time portal. Yeah!
Okay, pause. Frickin' Betty! Oh my gosh. Why is this show so freaking crazy? I like Footofaferret, but I also feel like at the same time, there's a lot more intricate details that I should be paying more attention. See, I don't. That's the problem. I don't know where we're at in the timeline. Are we in season 1? No, we're not in season 1. Are we in season 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10? I have no idea. I'm presuming like season 3 and 4 right now. Are we going on a timeline? What? He's not really telling us where we are in the seasons. He said that season 1 is like, it's nothing, whatever. Season 2 was kind of the same thing, so I'm presuming we're either in season 3, 4, or 5. But Betty, what the frick? Then on top of that, they don't say nothing about Harley. He's like, I'm sure we'll explore this later, you know. It ain't like it's cursed or nothing with the sword being always attached to him. And, oh my gosh, so much. To think that there's a second part that oh my gosh, we're less than 10 minutes into this. Holy crap. Either way, let's continue and see what the frick, Betty. Play.
Poop. Betty runs off to try and find a way to reverse whatever magic is keeping Ice King all Dumbo in the brain and bring back Simon. So in the meantime, jumping back to Finn, dude gets a massive drama bomb dropped on him when he finds out that his dad is still alive and in some giant space prison called the Citadel. Finn and Jake hop over there immediately, but because nothing is ever easy, the Lich goes too. He starts using goopy gray gunk to free all the prisoners, including this human guy named Martin. That's Finn's dad, and he's a total bum. The Lich starts closing in on Finn as Martin bails to try to escape. But Finn douses the Lich with this weird regeneration juice that turns the Lich into a giant baby? That's pretty weird. But no time for that right now. Finn's dad's about to get away. Finn tries to pull down the big rock.
Pause. Okay, yeah, no time for that right now. Finn's dad's about to get away. No. Let's not explore the fact that we got some weirdo baby version of the Lynch. Yeah. Oh, and I do know this part, by the way, what we're about to look at. I kind of know that, you know, Finn's dad, and this is where Finn loses his arm. Because he always had, like, some weird dreams that he was going to lose an arm. So, I think I'm right on this. I don't know. It's just, oh my gosh. I just want to see more about this little Lynch being a baby. But we're not going to explore that right now. We're going to move on. Okay, let's continue.
He tries to pull down the big rock Martin's escaping on, but he just isn't strong enough. But then his cursed grass sword randomly switches into maximum overdrive to try and help Finn, and... oh god! Finn's arm popped off!
Aw, and it sprouted a cute little flower.
But also, well, that could have gone better. Finn and Jake head back to Ooh, leave the giant harmless baby Lich on some old couple's doorstep, and things go back to normal for a bit. Well, as normal as things can be when you've lost an arm. Don't worry. A bee voiced by Chloe from Life is Strange falls in love with Finn's weird arm flower, and somehow that makes it turn into a tree, explode, and then turn into a fresh new arm for Finn with a little thorn sticking out of the palm. I don't know how any of this works. Hey, wait, who's that over there? Oh,
that's
right,
Betty.
Forgot she was a thing. She's
forgot
working
the
with
Paul,
this guy
sorry.
named Magic Man now. Magic Man is a jerk. He turned Finn into a giant foot back in season 1, so you can tell he's pretty messed up. Also, he's apparently from Mars, so there's that. But when their experiment goes wrong, Betty winds up absorbing all of Magic Man's powers, as well as his jerkiness, making Betty crazy and magical, and making Magic Man just normal man. Dude just kind of dips back to Mars after that. Gee, that sucks. Hey, what's going on in the Ice King?
Pause. So that means, is Betty now going to be a freaking villain? Because holy crap, now she's got all the jerkiness of Magic Man, which is now normal man. I mean, is that going to mean that she's kind of the perfect match for Ice King? And now Ice King and her is going to be a couple? I don't know. It's freaking so freaking, oh my gosh, this show. But there's no time for that, right? Let's move on to something else. Oh, I like Footofaferret, but holy crap. So yeah, like I said at the intro, I'm getting a generalized overview recap. and then we're going to dive that much deeper into each individual storyline. So by the time I'm done with this, I'm going to have all the Adventure Time stuff up here. So let's continue. And
Kingdom. Well, Ice King's just kinda chilling with his penguins, including his favorite, Gunther. Gunther. They say it a bunch of different ways in the show, and I don't know which one's the right one. Aw, look how cute he is. You would never even guess that he's actually an ancient cosmic entity called the Orgalorg, who was banished to Earth for attempting to take over the solar system by consuming the power of a comet that was barreling towards the planet. Yeah. And hey, there just so happens to be another comet barreling towards Earth right now! So the Orgalorg takes over Gunther and springs into space to try for a do-over. But Finn goes right up after him, only to find his dad in the mouth of a giant moth. It makes a bit more sense when you watch the whole show. Like I said, I'm kinda having to oversimplify things here for the sake of time. So Finn and Martin wander space for a bit until they find the Orgalorg chowing down on a comet. Finn jumps inside the Orgalorg's mouth, the thorn in his arm sprouts into a giant grass tentacle, and he absolutely wrecks the Orgalorg. But then the comet breaks open and reveals some other kind of cosmic entity, and they're like,
Finn, you were a comet once, I guess. You lived many lives over millions of years. You created me. Or maybe you didn't, I don't know. Hey, you wanna hang? Just you and me.
pause. I don't like this comet. This comet is, like, giving vibes that suck. Because it's just like, hey, you were a comet once. I think. I don't know. You created me. Just kind of a... I don't know how to describe it. It's not a... It's a hard description for me to come up with, but I don't like this comet thing. And then on top of that, I don't like Jake's dad either. Not Jake's dad, Finn's dad. What am I thinking? I don't like Finn's dad either. His dad seems kind of like a deadbeat. Because he's just never there. Maybe there's something more to him. I don't know. Yeah, that sucks. And this whole plot here, it's just kind of weird. I get it. Like he just told me, he's oversimplifying things really fast just for the sake of time, but I say go all out on these videos and make an actual long form video that's going to help you encompass everything. I mean, for goodness sake, I don't care if it's 2.5 hours. That would have made it where this could be like a 10-parter. I mean, or at least for me it would have been 10 parts, because I'm sitting here, I'm already 30 plus minutes into this, and I've already only gotten to 12 minutes into this video. So yeah, I don't know, but let's continue, and hopefully we get some sort of semblance of normalcy, which we're not. Let's continue. Play.
Or maybe you didn't, I don't know. Hey, you wanna hang? Just you and me. We can travel to the end and beginning of all things together. Or I guess you can stay on Earth and do Earth junk, if you want.
Finn's like, Earth junk please, but Martin decides to take the comet up on their deal. So, Martin doesn't exist anymore, and that's the end of season 6.
Pause. Okay, so I was correct when I'm thinking that Finn's dad's a deadbeat. He literally leaves the first chance he gets to be away from Finn. Literally, this comment's like, hey, you know, we can do some stuff together and chill and hang, or you can do some Earth crap. Finn's like, yeah, I think I'll stick with the whole Earth crap thing, you know, because this is where I live. But Finn's dad, no, my son's here, I gotta go. I'm gonna hang with you, Comet. So, yeah, at least now, though, I do know that we're just getting done with season 6. So, if we got 10 seasons, that means a lot happens in the last 4 seasons that he's going to be covering. So, yeah, let's continue. And play.
What the heck did I just watch? That was the weirdest season finale I've ever seen. That was weirder to me than Weirdmageddon, the finale that was meant to be as weird as it could be. The first time I saw this, it went in my head, but all I processed was... Anyway, now it's season 7, and everyone starts calling Princess Bubblegum by her real name for some reason. Her name is Bonnibel, or Bonnie for short. They revealed this name in season
2, I think.
but now it's becoming a pretty regular thing, so I'm gonna do the same thing in my video. One day, Bonnie's just chilling in this cabin she grew up in when Marceline, that vampire girl Simon protected back during the Mushroom Wars, literally bursts in and asks Bonnie to make her not a vampire anymore. We've seen Marceline countless times in the series at this point. She's a vampire, but she's not evil, she's friends with Finn and Jake, she plays bass, she's a fan favorite. She just hasn't been super plot relevant till now. But trust me, her wanting to not be a vampire anymore is a big deal. So Bonnie tosses Marceline into this machine and zaps all the vampire out of her. But that wakes up a bunch of evil vampires that Marceline had slain years before. So Marcy and Bonnie, and Finn and Jake, take out all the vampires before they can cause trouble. Bonnibel and Marceline have a lot of really cute bonding moments, heavily implying that they got a bit of a past. And after doing a bunch of slaying, all the vampires are gone. Well, except Marceline. By slaying all the vampires, she absorbed their powers, which means she's back to the way she started.
Balls. Okay, so obviously there's more to Marceline's story there than just what's on the surface. Yeah, so I mean, after I'm done with doing the, this part and the second part to Footofaferret's video, well, 2 parts for me, 1 part for y'all, if y'all want to go over there and watch it by yourselves without my pausing and starting and stopping and all that junk. Link in the description for that. Then, yes. After I'm done, though, with Footofaferret's video here, then Marceline's probably the one that I'm going to tackle next. I don't know who I'm going to use for that video, but Marceline's probably going to be the first character arc I deal with. Maybe Ice King, because I really like the idea of checking on Simon, but yeah, hey, I don't want to be a vampire anymore. Make me not a vampire. Then they take out all the vampire, which means all the evil vampires are now out of her. So I guess she was. See, this is why I need this is why I need more condensed version with more details, because listening to it this way makes me feel like Marceline was cool with it, because now she's kind of like, you know what? I'm a vampire. I'm cool with it because I know with me being a vampire, they're not here to wreak havoc on anyone else. So I'm okay with it as long as they're not here. So hopefully it makes sense when it was in my head. But as I'm saying it, I don't know how much sense I make. Hopefully I make some. I don't know. But either way though, that sounds like it's a good, development for her character. But we're just not getting it through this video. So that'll be in part 3 or 4 of my Learning the Lore series with Adventure Time. So yeah, let's continue though. So
but she's cool with it now. Glad we went through all that then. So we've kind of danced around this for a while now, but what the heck is going on with the whole grass sword thing? Okay, so after Finn got his new arm, he started using this new sword that had some kind of sentient Finn consciousness inside it. It's called the Finn sword. But when someone steals Finn's Finn sword, making Finn's Finn arm sprout Finn's Finn grass sword again, he accidentally breaks both of them. And that makes Finn big sad. And it makes the consciousness of the 2 swords meld together. Fast forward a bit, and Finn is getting into a huge fight with Susan Strong. Remember her? Well, now she's not only confirmed to be human, but we even find out she's got some kind of funky mods installed in her head that are making her go crazy. She beats Finn up and throws him to the ground, but Finn's arm is just like, oh, heck no, you do not mess with my rest of me like that. And that big grass tentacle sprouts again, knocks Susan on her butt, and then totally ditches Finn's arm to go grab Finn's discarded Finn sword. This boy cannot keep an arm to save his life. The 2 swords merge together and create Fern, a sentient grass dude who is convinced he's Finn. Dude's got a lot of issues to work out, so he rides off into the sunset for a while, but don't worry, He'll be back. In the meantime, Bubblegum gives Finn this fresh new high-tech robot arm that has a bunch of different features and abilities. Remember that. And speaking of robots, this giant stingray robot randomly just showed up on Ooh looking for Susan. But it also recognizes Finn for some reason. Obviously, this is suspicious as butt, so Finn, Jake, and Susan all set off to find where this weird stingray ship came from. They end up on this super fancy high-tech island where they find... Whoa! That's a humans!
Pause. I had other stuff in my mind, but now I'm hearing him say humans, and now I'm kind of like, wait, what? What? Humans? What the frick? What's going on here? Was there a population of humans that kind of stayed to the side and kind of just developed and... Oh my gosh, this show. But yeah, okay. So the consciousness of Finn was inside a Finn sword. And then there was the leaf like whatever thingy sword that grows out of Finn. And then those two combined to make a fern? What? Oh my gosh. This is season 7. And, oh my gosh. I don't... I'm glad that I did... I'm not glad that I didn't do reactions to the show, because some of these episodes would have been crazy watching. Oh my gosh. You know, I should have done that. After I got done with Steven Universe and everything that entails with that, I should have started reacting straight to Adventure Time, because there was a lot of craziness in Steven Universe too, and holy crap, this show can give Steven Universe a run for its money on the craziness. Actually, I think it's topped it, and I haven't even watched the frickin' show. Either way, let's continue.
That's a veritable baker's dozen of humans! And why does that one look so much like Finn? Well, funny you should ask. Me, because that is Dr. Minerva, Finn's mom. Oh! Okay! You're just gonna drop that one on us like that, alright. Minerva's lived on this island her whole life. This is where she fell in love with Martin and had Finn before a series of unfortunate events led to Martin running away from people trying to hurt him, leaving Finn on a raft in the middle of the ocean while trying to protect him, and Minerva being left on the island by herself with no idea what even happened. These days, the real Minerva's not really around anymore because she put herself in cryostasis and uploaded her consciousness to a ton of robot clones so she could help protect her people from a deadly virus that spread across the island, wiped out all their health workers, and couldn't...
Pause. Why is there so much information within 30-second clips to this recap? Holy crap. Okay, so Finn's mom... First off, that's a tragic backstory, but Finn's mom put herself in cryostasis, but uploaded her consciousness and made clones of herself to try to protect all these people, but just couldn't do it still. So how are these people around? I guess we'll just have to figure that out as we go along, right? So let's do that. Let's continue and...
Stopped by quarantining. Okay, this just crossed the line into official too real territory, and I am not okay with that. But yeah, now Finn's mom is a consciousness spread across a ton of robots to keep the humans safe. And now that her son's come back to her, she will not let him leave. But Finn's like, yo, that mess is dumb and stupid and wrong. Minerva's like, yeah, you're probably right. And then they leave. Oh, except Susan. This island's actually where she grew up, so she meets up with an old friend and they head off to have new adventures. Oh, and her real name's apparently Kara. We don't really see her again after that, so Finn and Jake say their goodbyes and head back to Ooh, randomly picking up this vial of nightmare juice from a...
Okay, so hold on a second. So we don't see Susan / Kara no more after that? honestly, that probably would have made for a good spin-off series. But what do we get? We got Fiona and Cake. I have zero clue on anything to do with Fiona and Cake, by the way, so I can't say one way or the other if it's good or not. But wouldn't that have made a good, like, backdoor pilot of exploring, you know, Susan/Kara and her friend there? And then kind of doing, like, a backdoor pilot that way to kind of create a whole new series? I mean, I don't know. But we got Nightmare Fuel coming up, so let's do that. Yeah, continue and play.
From a dream demon on the way back. I know that's a little out of nowhere, but trust me, it's important. The guys get back home just in time for season 9. We're in the home stretch here, people. And good thing too, because my brain is mushing out on me. Which is appropriate, because while Finn and Jake were gone, Ooh totally mushed out on them. Place is a mess. Apparently, this ice elemental, Patient St. Pim, used Betty's newfound crazy magic to cast a mega spell that made the other elementals go crazy and corrupted all of Ooh, splitting it into 4 sections: fire, ice, candy, and slime. Betty tells Finn that they can reverse the corruption if they get all the royal elemental jewels. But once he does, Betty just yoinks them and bails. Poop. Yeah, Betty doesn't really give a crap about anything other than Ice King, so she tricked Finn into bringing her the jewels so she could run more experiments to bring back Simon. But you know that Ice King. He's dumb. Dude doesn't even register what's going on and messes up her whole experiment.
Falls. I don't mind that Betty got blew up. I know it kind of sucks, but I don't mind. Betty was kind of turned evil. So good on Ice King for accidentally blowing Betty up and being stupid. I kind of thought maybe they might be the perfect match since one's crazy and the other one's now crazy too, but no, she's just maniacal crazy, not funny crazy like Ice King. So yeah, maybe he'll find his princess one day, but I don't think Betty's that princess anymore. So yeah, other than that though, it looks like we have roughly a minute and a half left on this, so I'm probably going to pause at least one more time. Can't make any guarantees, but probably at least one more time. So I say I'll just continue and we'll see where we go from here. Although I am kind of wondering if we're in season 10, how are we? Well, there is Distant Lands. Then there's Fiona and Cake. So is he going to tackle all that in the second half? I mean, because if we're almost done with season 10, that's the whole series, right? Either way, let's find out. Let's continue and
blowing her up in the process. Don't worry, she's fine. She's just on Mars now. It makes sense.
Pause. I know I didn't want to just pause right away again, but oh my gosh, this show. Oh, and by any chance y'all heard the background noise just then? That's because semi-truck. Of course there's going to be noise sometimes in the background. But yeah, so Betty's fine. She didn't blow up. She's just on Mars. Let's continue. And
Ice King brings the jewels back to Finn, who's hanging out with Lumpy Space Princess. Now, Lumpy's been a fan favorite recurring character since season 1, but she's never really been super plot relevant. Not until now! See, LSP here is actually immune to the corruption that's messing with Ooh and its people. So, with all the jewels in hand, Lumpy Space Princess suction cups herself to the ground and runs a full system reset, turning everything back to normal. Hooray! LSP served a purpose. But things in Ooh don't stay good for very long. Fern starts having a total existential crisis and goes a little bit crazy. Apparently, this magic grass dude randomly developed the power to cloak himself to look exactly like the real Finn. So he attacks real Finn and tries to kill him so he can take his place. You know, like a normal person! Finn obviously doesn't want to hurt him, but he accidentally activates one of his robot arm's special abilities that completely mulches Fern. So he's dead, and as you might expect, accidentally murdering someone who looks exactly like you is just a wee bit traumatizing. So as we enter Adventure
Pause. Okay, so this is roughly where I found a middle spot in Footofaferret's video, this is roughly where I stopped it, because I thought it was a really good spot to end it, considering he said, well, you have to kill someone that looks like you. So, yeah, I'm going to let these last 10 to 15, whatever seconds it is, play out. It's like 9 seconds, I don't know. So, I'm just going to let it play out. But, holy crap, I'll save that thought for a second. So, yeah, this is where we're pretty much ending where we are in this. So, let's continue and
Time's 10th and final season, that whole ordeal is weighing really heavily on Finn. That is until, oops, Fern's back, and now he's tall. And he's got friends.
Oh my gosh. I forgot how I ended it. But Fern's back already? Oh my gosh. Holy crap. This show is so freaking rapid. I think it's actually Footofaferret. I think Footofaferret is just that rapid fire. Because he's just going one thing after a freaking another. And it's just like, holy crap, when are you going to slow down, my dude? Slow the frick down. Because one thing after another. But we're not going to tackle this. We're going to move on to this. Oh, this has happened now? No, we're going to move on to this. But the ending there, where I cut it off at, holy crap, that would mess with you so freaking bad mentally. I mean, my goodness, you take something and just do a little weed whacker thingy here and just mulch up a cloned version of your freaking self. Essentially killing yourself, which hopefully the YouTube algorithm doesn't catch me saying that last part, but, you know, he essentially did that to himself. So mentally, he's just like, oh my gosh, this is, mentally, I can't even imagine. It would be so freaking crazy how mentally messed up that would be. But it's okay though. Fern's back because what the frick? And he's taller somehow. I don't know how that happened, but I'll have to find that out in the next video because holy crap. Fern's back, and I don't know. I don't even know how the heck we're going to end this. I mean, are we going to go and deal with the whole distant lands? And then are we going to jump into Fiona and Cake? And then are we going to... How much stuff happens in Season 10 that I'm actually going to be able to tackle here? Because there can't be that much in Season 10 that involves another 20 freaking minutes. So we definitely have to have more stuff. I think this video was uploaded maybe a year ago. Maybe 2 years ago at this point. I'm not 100% sure. But, oh my gosh. Wow. I don't know what to say because, yes, I know a lot of stuff happens now, and, you know, I don't, oh man. And one of my favorite episodes wasn't even touched on because I know it didn't have anything to do with anything in the whole series, but I know the episode had to happen well before Season 10. And that episode is the one where Jake is just simply a brick in the wall. That's what he wants to do the whole day, is just be a brick in the wall. So he forms himself to be a brick, and I don't know what it is about that episode. I love it. So it's sometimes for me, the simplest episodes hit the hardest. And for some reason, that Jake episode where he's just a brick in the wall makes me feel like there's so much more to this episode than people realize. But I know, of course, it wasn't plot heavy, this and that. So, of course, it isn't going to be in a recap video of what the storyline is and all that stuff. So, yeah, holy crap, that was a lot to absorb within just the time frame that I've absorbed it. So, hopefully I can keep all this within my head for when I watch the second part. But, holy crap. But then I am definitely looking forward to getting into more details of Simon and just watching his complete story as opposed to just just the entire freaking story, because this is a lot to absorb, y'all. Whew. But I'm going to look forward to Simon. We're looking forward to Marceline. And then I think I seen like a 17-minute video out there just on the Mushroom War. So that's going to be interesting. It's just, there's so much to this freaking show that it's going to be difficult to tackle all of everything just within this little Foot of a Ferret video. So that's why we're pretty much going around this channel. This is probably going to be 6 to 8 parts, easy. Maybe even 10 to 15. I have no idea how long this is going to be, honestly, because I know just as soon as I do that, then I'm going to have the whole complete story of the Lynch and tackling his story that much more, because I know there's got to be more to that, the little baby looking creature. I mean, is the Lynch going to come back? I think it is. I have no idea. But you know what? One way for me to find out is for me to end this video and hopefully eventually have the next video up fairly fast. I'm going to say probably within the next week after uploading this one. So I'm going to shut up for now. I'm going to pass it off to y'all. And same way I end every video that I do around here is quite simply, y'all know the drill by now. Hit that like tickle to subscribe. Don't be texting and driving. Love what you watch and watch what you love. And take it away, Mr. Rogers.
I like you just the way you are.